Guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. I know it's not the new year technically, but it's my first time appearing on my YouTube channel in 2021. So wow, we're in March and it is crazy to even say that because that lets me know that time is flying. It's going by so quickly, which is why I want to really just take advantage of every moment in life and just value, my relationships. When I think about what 2020 taught me, and I can just put it into like one sentence, I would say that 2020 taught me how to really value my relationships. And of course, the first thing you think about when you think of relationships is your relationships with others. But your relationship with God and your relationship with yourself is just as important. So I definitely am one of those people that were able to appreciate and value my relationships a lot more. Prior to 2020, I thought I was valuing my relationships, but really in hindsight, I was not. So this is just a video of me talking about the biggest takeaways I had from 2020. It's not like groundbreaking things you've never heard before. All of these things are things that most of us have heard before, but I think for me, it was just another level, another depth of understanding for me last year. So, and I think a lot of us can relate to just valuing our relationships more last year. So we're gonna get right into this list. If there's anything that you learned that was like a big thing for you, please comment and let me know. But we're gonna jump right into this video now. Number one is whatever you want to receive in your relationships, you must freely give, and don't give with the expectation of getting something in return. Like, really let it be from your heart and from a genuine place. And that's something that was a realization for me last year. I realized that I have high expectations in my relationships. I really hold people to a standard, and I had to ask myself, like, am I giving those same things in my relationships? And the answer was no. And so it wasn't a malicious thing, it was more so, me getting caught up into my life and, being independent, that, everything just became secondary to me. And so for those that, don't know me, I am from Kansas City, Missouri, and I moved to Houston, Texas 5.5 years ago. And so since I've been in Houston, I just been on my own and just doing everything. And so just getting caught up in that, it really put me in a place of selfishness. And yeah, I didn't realize that until last year when I was communicating with my loved ones more, being confined to my home and really depending on, those relationships and connections made me realize that. So that is number one. Number two, be okay with being misunderstood. And this one is a big one for me because I've always been a person that really cared about what people think of me. I never wanted to be, someone that people disliked or did not accept. And that was such a waste of my energy because it did not work. Literally, it doesn't matter what you do. There's going to be someone on this earth that's going to find an issue with it. I mean, Jesus is the perfect example of that. Like, it doesn't get any more perfect than Jesus. He had a host of haters out there. And so if you are not okay with being misunderstood and you're caring too much about what people think of you, you're not being yourself. You're not being authentic. Of course, you want to, have the right intentions. You want to have a good heart. But at the end of the day, you really cannot control what people think of you. So be yourself. Like, don't, be okay with being misunderstood. You don't have to tell your side of the story. The people that are supposed to be in your life, like, they're going to be in your life and they're not going to go anywhere. So don't waste energy. That's wasting. It's a waste of your energy to not be okay with being misunderstood. That's number 2. Number 2 is a perfect segue into number 3, which is not to force anything. Just like I said for number 2, what's meant for you is going to be for you. No one can take that away. So, when you are forcing something, when you can feel it in your body, like you don't have peace, you don't have, you might not be able to sleep at night. Your appetite might be off. Like, when you're forcing things, it doesn't feel natural. It does not feel right. So that's like the biggest sign that you're forcing something. There are going to be bumps in the road. There are going to be misunderstandings in relationships. But when your relationship consists of a lot of toxicity and just unhappiness, you know that you are forcing that relationship, and you really need to take a step back. It may not be that, that person is not, meant to be in your life. It may mean that, it's out of season, possibly. However, you need to, make a decision and do what's best for you. At the end of the day, like, you have to communicate, you have to, express yourself in your relationships. But when you've done all that you can, then you have to be courageous enough to take a step back and really make the decision that's best for you. So that's number 3. Number 4 is to speak less. Woo, that's hard for me. I am like a big communicator. I'm very expressive. I'm very detailed. But a lot of me, like, being detailed and overly explaining things comes from a lack of confidence, because I want people to believe me. I want to convince them, and really I don't have to do that. It has more value when I am like straight to the point and speaking less. You have to be wise with your words too. Not everything requires an explanation. Not everything requires your input. So I notice, like, when people that have mastered this, they are like really respected, and when they do speak, everyone stops and just listens, because they know that if this person is speaking, it's got to be something valuable coming out of their mouth. So I'm still trying to learn this, because like, I'm super expressive. I'm very much a big communicator. So but I will say that I have made a lot of progress with this. And a scripture that comes to mind when I think of this point is, it says in the Bible, I can't remember the address, but it says to let your yes be yes and let your no be no. And like, my interpretation of that is to, say what you got to say, get to the point, and let that be final. Because sometimes when you're overly communicating, it's more confusing to people. So like Nene Leakes said, that's that on that. And then just let it be. And whoever understands it, they're meant to understand it. And whoever doesn't, it's not meant for them to understand. And that's just that on that. Last but not least is rid yourself of expectations. And recently I made a Facebook status saying something similar to this, and some people did not understand what I meant, and they took it literally. And so when I say to rid yourself of expectations, I'm not meaning that literally, because you can't possibly like rid yourself of expectations like entirely, because you're human. We're going to have expectations. We're going to be disappointed. But what I mean by that is you need to give people grace. People are going to, not respond or communicate or behave in the way that you would behave or communicate or respond. So a lot of us get caught up in that, and we get disappointed because we have that expectation. And sometimes when you have unrealistic expectations, you get disappointed. And so you have to, like, really evaluate, like, is this expectation realistic? Is it something that, that this person is like even capable of doing? Are they unwilling to do it? Because if you are expressing and communicating, something to a person, and maybe it's something that bothers you or hurts you, and they don't change it, then it falls back on you. Like, what are you going to do about that? Are you going to change your expectation of them, or are you going to, decide to not deal with that person because it's constantly causing you, pain, or, constantly hurting you? So that is something that you have to, really, really evaluate. So I really hope that this was insightful for you guys. I hope that I didn't talk your head off too much, because I can talk, okay? But yeah, I'm so excited about 2021. I feel like it's going to be a great year. I feel like so many good things are coming. I just feel it in my spirit. I, at the beginning of this year, did a social media cleanse or fast, whatever you want to call it, because I really wanted to set the tone for this year. I really wanted this year to be a year of abundance, like abundance and peace and happiness and every other aspect in my life. And so I just feel so good about this year, and I hope that you guys are at peace and happy as well. And if you're not, it's okay. It's okay not to be okay. But I hope and pray for you that you find the resources and the right people to get you to that place of happiness and peace and joy. So again, I hope you liked this video, and I hope that you subscribe and share and comment, all those great things. And I will see you guys again next time.